Hello and welcome back to this Let's Build series. Between this episode and the last one, like I said in the previous video, I basically just MC edited a couple of things. Like I filled out the floor in here, cleared out all the grass, most of the grass anyway. And let me start my timer, which I just about forgot to do. And so that's been done. The concrete floor in the garage has been done, as has the driveway, and I've moved the house back a little bit. So, let's see here. Where are we at? You know what I should have done was filled in the ceiling, but hindsight is always 20/20. So anyways, we're basically just going to be doing the usual sort of stuff, you know, filling in the ceilings with wool and doing the walls and all that good stuff. And since that really doesn't require any explanation as much as it just does kind of watch and familiarize yourself with it, and if you've been watching my videos regularly, you probably already have, but my point being that, well, I was thinking about this K-mart I had built in my world here, and I'm planning on showing it fairly soon. If it hasn't already gone up, it probably will be up soon. And anyways, it's a K-mart, you know, retail store. It replaced an older and much less detailed Walmart that I had built more or less on the same site. And overall, I think it is 100% an improvement. And anyway, so I was just thinking about the K-mart and all that stuff. And that got me thinking about K-mart itself, you know, in real life. Like, I like the stores, you know. As much flack as people tend to give K-mart, the stores are usually very quiet, very, you know, clean and well organized. I mean, even K-mart that's, it's in, like, you know, one of the hoods, if you will, in the city. And the few times I've been in there, it's, you know, it's almost always been very clean and surprisingly quiet, location and clientele considering. And I mean, overall, I have very little other than positive things to say about the K-mart store experience itself. But, and there is always a but, I still have this lingering kind of, I wouldn't call it resentment per se, but it's kind of irritation. Because about 2 years ago, give or take about 2 or 3 months, I applied for a job at K-mart. And this was basically the first time I'd ever applied for a job. And, you know, my mom, who had been job hunting at my age back in the 80s, you know, said, oh, you know, just fill out an application and, you know, they'll probably call and it'll be real simple like that. So, you know, I'm going into this thing thinking, you know, okay, yeah, it'll be real simple, you know, just fill out an application and hand it over and be good to go, basically. But as fate would have it, that was not the case. Right now I'm just kind of debating what material to use for this. I'm not quite sure. You know, maybe some oak wood kind of alternating would fit the theme. But anyway, back to my oh so important story. Yeah, so I mean, I was under the impression that you know, I'd complete an application, hand it in, and that I'd almost definitely get hired and everything would be hunky-dory, you know. And to my surprise and displeasement, that was not the case. So basically, the process for applying for a job, if you haven't, you know, been doing that lately or done that already, I'm not sure how old most of you guys out there are, but I'm sure at least a few of you have had some encounters with the kind of career world. And anyway, the process for applying for a job, as I would find out, is radically different from the way it was back when my mom was growing up. So basically, what you end up having to do is filling out an application that is extremely long and asks a ton of questions, and you can't do this application, I should mention, until you give your prospective employer, or at least the website they use for hiring, literally all of your personal information. I mean, like address and phone number I can kind of understand, even, you know, even for just a prospective employee, but like literally all of your personal information, you know, like your your social security number, all that stuff. I think 1 or 2 applications even ask for your marital status and stuff. I mean, now granted, aside from the SSN and, like I said, literally all of your very detailed information, some of these things are optional, but the majority are not. And so anyway, after giving, let's work on other things. I'm kind of detailing the kitchen here and working ahead of myself, but anyway, so after giving them literally all of your personal information, they direct you, or the site, I should say, because it's not actually a physical person doing this, but the site directs you to fill out a series of questionnaires. Now, the first of which, I guess I should talk about the second one first, but because that one left the biggest thorn in my side of the two. Well, not really, but no, I'm just gonna tell the story without going on too many tangents here. So anyway, the first series of questions, or the second series of questions, which is the one I wanted to talk about. The second series of questions is basically, I think with K-mart, it was 60 questions. Yes, 60. I didn't mispronounce that or missay that. 60 questions. I think it might actually have been more than that, but yeah, so this part of the assessment was 60 questions, right? And they're all basically like hypothetical on-the-job scenarios, like, say, so-and-so comes into work, and he's being, I don't want to swear in this video, or these videos, but he's being a little testy and kind of, and you suspect that he has trouble at home or whatever. So then it'd offer you a series of possible responses, like, what do you do in a situation? Do you say that, you're here for him and that you can, whatever? Do you say that he should, or, would you talk to your manager and tell her about the problem? Would you try to, just ignore it because it's not your business and blah, blah, blah? And the thing about these questions is that with almost all of them, there really is no objectively wrong answer. I mean, at least by my standards, Like with most of these questions, just about any of the answers would probably be acceptable in a real-life situation, And that's what makes them as terrible as they are. So it's like, basically just of that list, select what you would be most likely to do. And, like another one would be a customer is irate about a product that doesn't work, or, you don't, your store doesn't carry this brand of product, what do you do? Do you talk smack about that brand and say how yours is superior? Do you direct them to a store that has the brand? Do you explain possible substitutes and offer them blah, blah, blah? So all of these sort of things, that's like, hypothetical scenarios, like I said. So there are at least 60 of these questions. Again, 60, yes, I don't think I butchered the pronunciation of that. 60 questions. 60 questions, all basically hypothetical, that, and granted, reasonably could and probably do happen on the job in these stores, but so that was 60 questions. I think it might have been a timed assessment, though I'm not quite sure. That took about an hour or so to do, and the part before that, the part that really, I think, ruined my chances, was basically like a personality assessment. Now, the thing is, these stores, I'm sure, are looking for very outgoing, charismatic people. I mean, even though it's like K-mart or Burger King and the like, but obviously they're looking for people who are outgoing and charismatic. And, I'm basically neither of the two. And honestly, I have no real shame in admitting that because, why try to hide the truth? But yeah, so I'm really not outgoing, nor am I charismatic. And all of these personality questions basically hinge on these sort of things, like, I guess, like I'm, a lot of them were true and false, right? So, like, one question would be, I'm the life of a party, I'm the social butterfly, I'm, the first one to go around and start shaking hands. And, I'd answer these things truthfully, as, I see myself being. So to all of these sort of questions, I'd basically answer no. You know, am I the social butterfly? No. Am I the life of the party? No. And, you know, these were basically truthful answers. And so, you know, they, of course, they basically auto-screen you based on your replies to these. And, you know, of course, I realize now that the answers I gave were pretty much the opposite of what a desirable social employee would give. So, you know, I will admit to that. But, yeah, so I finished this 30-something questionnaire, 30-something questionnaire, and I move on to the on-the-job sort of questions that I had mentioned earlier, and I'll go through those, and that takes about an hour. So, all told, I spent about 2 hours on that application, and, what else? Yeah, so, basically, I got, you know, a message once I had gone through it saying that, you know, they have reviewed my answers and such, and that I'm basically not a fit for the, you know, the sort of person they're looking for. And this surprised and disappointed me, naturally, because believe it or not, I wanted to work at K-mart. Like I said, I like the K-mart stores. They're quiet, they're clean, just a nice place to shop and a nice place to work, even if the prices are a bit high and the selection isn't quite as all-inclusive as Walmart's. But, yeah, so I mean, I was surprised and disappointed by that, and, that is the day when I learned that for someone like me, you know, you basically have to blatantly lie on those. Like, you know, you go through now, like, you know, I'm the social butterfly, yes. I'm the life of the party, yes. And so on and so forth. So, yeah, I don't really know where I was going with that. It was just kind of, like I said, I just kind of remember that when I was thinking about the K-mart. And, yeah. So that's the first time I applied for a job. And the first time I got rejected when I applied for a job. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, and this wasn't just limited to Kmart, too, as I would later learn. I mean, I filled out an application for the White Castle near where I live now, and, there were 60 questions to that application, too. 60 questions to literally flip burgers at White Castle. Let that sink in for a minute, folks. Let the absurdity of that settle in your mind. 60 questions, most of which are hypothetical and or personality based, to literally flip burgers at White Castle. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, I took up about, like 13 or 14 minutes with that, but anyway, yeah, I think I kind of got carried away. Okay, yeah, so as you can see, I basically completed the bathrooms, and they're just the same sort of bathrooms that I usually build. It's got the standard vanity, toilet, and sink, or tub / shower. And this has been done. The laundry / utility room has been done. And so was the lower level. And the upper level as well. So, getting back on track here, let's just go ahead and try and finish this stuff off before the episode ends, because it'd be kind of pointless to have this stuff in the episode that would normally basically be dedicated to landscaping. So what I'm going to do here is just add in my usual kitchen stuff, you know, the fridge, the hood above the stove, so on and so forth, and put that in there, and there we go. There's a nice little kind of window up to the main dining area, basically like a serving window sort of thing. Now let's go ahead and put on the countertops, which I guess we'll use light gray for. And you may notice that there is no lighting in here at the moment, and that is something I'm going to fix right now. So, we're just going to throw in a bunch of redstone lamps here, and some levers to turn them on. And this panel lighting, and there's the timer. This panel lighting was kind of popular back in the 70s and 80s, and kind of the first bit of the 90s too. I think it looked pretty neat, personally. But let me just go ahead and put in this door since I'm out here anyway. There we go. I'll put in some lights too, I guess. Okay, so that's that. And I got the panel lighting in here, which is cool. And now let's go ahead and put in a chandelier in the dining area. I think I'm going to use some orange stained clay along with this. No, maybe we'll use white and we'll use a beacon. And I'm going to do a bit of a different kind of chandelier here. Actually, no, let's do something else that's different. Let's kind of do the chandelier that I usually do in these sort of houses with the open dining areas, like so. This leaves 3 blocks underneath of it for the table and all that good stuff. Now, I guess maybe here we could have a hanging light too, basically like a swag lamp type thing, covering the entryway and the stairs. So, that's about it for this episode. Interior finishing and a long-winded tangent about K-mart and job applications, in case you decided to skip through to the end. So, yeah, that's really just about it for this episode. I'm going to sleep here, and then in the next episode we're going to basically tackle the exterior and the landscaping and all that good stuff. So, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, please feel free to leave a like or a comment or subscribe or whatnot if you haven't already. If not, then please feel free to leave some constructive criticism before you go. As I said in the last video, I can always benefit from that. Again, thanks for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next episode.